Welcome everyone today. You are here to watch a presentation entitled Market Maker Levels, the Secret Trading Levels of a Veteran Floor Trader. Now, I really don't like to use those kind of marketing gimmicky catchphrases like secret levels or top secret or highly classified. I really don't like those kinds of adjectives to describe anything in trading. I think they're kind of gimmicky and salesy and those kinds of things, but it really does have a purpose here. What I'm going to talk to you about today really was a secret to me for quite a bit of time, and I'll explain that as we go through the process. So again, we'll talk about why I call them the secret trading levels. That was kind of an inside thing between my trading mentor and I as we went through, and he was sharing these levels with me, right? And so we'll talk about a little bit about that as we go through it, but I just wanted to kind of lay that out there that I'm not a huge fan of the gimmicky, salesy kind of terminology and lingo, but for the sake of this discussion, it really did apply. All right, so let's get started here. Again, my name is Jason Love, and I am the founder and lead trader here at the Oil Trading Group, and that is me back in 1987, graduating from high school. Judging by the hair, you can tell that the time period that we were in there, right? You can tell by the hockey haircut. And yes, in Odessa, Texas, we did not have a hockey team back in 1987. I think they do today, actually, but back then they did not, even though I had a fine amount of hockey hair. Well, there is me a few short years later with all of my hair gone as I graduated from boot camp in 1988 from the Great Lakes Naval Training Station. I am a combat veteran of Operation Desert Storm, and I did hold a top secret security clearance while I was in the Navy. And there's me 30 short years later as the founder and lead trader of the Oil Trading Group. Back in October of 2020, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary of running a day trading chat room. We've seen a lot of things over the years. We've had lots of people pass through the doors and kind of touch us in many different various ways here. All been really good experiences, been super happy. And again, I think you guys know that are at one of these presentations, to say that you've been around in this business for 10 years is a testament to how things have been going. So again, we just passed our 10-year anniversary, and it is good to have you guys in here with us today. So before we get started, I'm going to show you some numbers and statistics, and our good old Uncle Sam wants us to make sure that we give you a proper disclaimer as we go through this. So the CFTC wants you to know that futures and options trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You should seek appropriate advice from your broker or licensed investment advisor before taking any action. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The Oil Trading Group, that's us. We do not hold ourselves out as commodity trading advisors. So given this representation, all the information provided to you here today by us to you is for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice. And then, of course, the CFTC wants you to know that hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike actual performance records, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, if you want that full disclaimer, make sure you go to the website and you click on, that is oiltradinggroup.com, and click on the disclaimers so that you get a full reading of all of those disclaimers as we go through here. All right, so I have been to a number of these. You guys have been to a number of these. I recognize some of the names that are in here today. And the first question that we always ask as we go through one of these programs is, what I'm going to show you today, does it actually work? Right? That's what we all want to know. Does this thing that this guy on the other side of the microphone show us, is it actually going to work? And so I'm going to endeavor to do my best to show you how we feel like evidence that it works. So what I'm showing you here right now is a screenshot from the Topstep Trader website. Of course, they've done a revamp since I put this program together, but they have on their website, they had a graphic here that said back in 2018, they had 1,020 traders that were funded through their program. Now, if you're not familiar with Topstep Trader, we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail in just a couple of minutes. But Topstep Trader is the industry first, and I would consider to be the industry best. You may differ with that, but I feel like they are the best. If they're not the best, they're one of the best prop firm, retail trader, provide funding type organizations that are out there. So simply put, if you can pass their trading criteria, and they have a couple of different steps, and we're not going to go through all the details of that today, but if you can pass their steps into their process, you can earn a funded account. So back in 2018, they had 1,020 traders that were earned funded accounts. Now, the fastest time that you can do that is 15 trading days. They have two steps. Step number 1 is a minimum of 5 trading days. Step number 2 is a minimum of 10 trading days. Now, remember that when we go through here in just a couple of minutes, and I begin to explain this process just a little bit more. But in 2018, the fastest time that it was done by me, right? And so if you look here to that screenshot to the right, and Roderick's going to throw a link to the YouTube channel in here, and you can go down and scroll through over 400 videos, and you can find this video on the YouTube channel where I created a webinar that talked about how it was that I was able to pass this Topstep Trader Trading Combine, earn a $50,000 trading account, and do it in the minimum required time of 15 trading days. And there's a video there that you can watch that will explain in detail how it was that we went through that process. Also, over the years, and this list is not an all-encompassing list, I just want to show you a little bit about some of the combines that we've taken in front of a live trading room in the past, right? And so if you go back to January of 2015, you'll notice that we had a trading combine. This is a little bit ridiculous here. The markets were really moving. This is right back. I don't know if you guys remember in oil, there was what they called that Arab Spring, and the market was really active. We had a net profit of $41,743 in 10 trading days. Now, Roderick is also going to throw a link into the main chat area as well, and that link is going to be to this page. Let me see if I can pull this down here for you. He's going to throw a link for you to this page. When you get to this page, this is going to be a list of past trading combines that I have taken. And so, for example, if you go into this January 2015 that I just showed you on screen, I'm going to go through and kind of talk about what it is that we did and why we did it and how we did it, etc. And you're going to get a good deep dive into the look here at the numbers. But the thing I want you to notice here is the average losing day was $2,800. However, the average winning day was $4,950 for a total profit of, what did we say that number was? $41,743. Now, you'll have a chance at your leisure to go in and look at that page, and you can see all of the different combines, trading combines that we were able to successfully navigate. Now, there's something that I want you to notice here, and it's all the way down here at the bottom. This is going to be important. You see that the average winning trade is $421. That's over the course of all of these different combines, and the average losing trade was $119. That is a reward to risk of 3.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio. Keep that number in your mind, right? Also, I want you to notice that it's not like we don't ever lose, right? We do have losing trading days. That's the part of trading that is out there. And so you can see our largest losing days during these different trading combines, right? So the higher the combine, the bigger the loss limit, and the longer you can trade. I don't recommend, going beyond, whatever you're comfortable with. But the point is, you can have losing trading days, right? Also, what I want you to notice here is that the average winning trade was about 15 minutes, and the average losing trade was about 4.5 to 5 minutes. So not only are we holding on to the winning trades for a greater reward to risk ratio, we are getting out of our losing trades much more quickly than we are what we do when we stay in our winning trades. So the point of that is that we are looking for longer, bigger targets, and we get out of our losers more quickly. We stay in our winners for a longer period of time. And it is that combination that allows you to have consistent trading success. Well, how do you go about doing that? Jason, I understand that. All right, I understand that winning more when I win than losing when I lose is great. I understand that it's really good to get out of your losing trades as quickly as you can. I read that all over the internet, but I don't know how to do that, right? Or I don't have a ton of success when I'm doing that, right? And so I am going to show you today how these particular levels will allow you to master that process in a much more efficient way. All right, so let's move on. So back in October of 2020, and that was just, what are we in, February of 21, so just a couple of months ago, I took the room and us through a Topstep Trading Combine. And what you see here is the congratulatory letter. Now, these are automated things. You pass their criteria, they send you out a letter. This is a congratulatory letter on passing the Trading Combine and reaching the funded level, okay? Now, once you do that at Topstep Trader, they're going to give you an option. You can go straight to a funded account, or you can go to what they call the Pro account. Now, if you and I were sitting down and we were having a coaching session and we were talking together, I would tell you that there is only one reason not to take the Pro account, okay? I would tell you there's only one reason not to take the Pro account. That reason is that if you get to a point where you are at $4,999 in your funded account, by the way, I'm using that number because at $5,000, once you achieve a $5,000 profit, they move that money into that funded premium account. But if you, for some reason, you got to $4,999 and you are unable to continue to trade, you would have no money in that account, right? There would be no equity built up in that account for you. However, that's the only downside. In the Pro account, they are going to allow you to remain in the simulator. You don't have to pay additional Pro level data fees. If you, for some reason, don't make it through the Pro account, you don't have to go all the way back to step 1. They'll put you in step 2. If you make $5,000, I think I just said this, if you make $5,000 in that Pro account, they take that $5,000 and they move it into that funded account. Here's why I'm telling you this, right? I'm telling you this so that you can understand what I'm about to go through, this process I'm about to go through with you, why what you see here is important. All right, so October of 2020, they send me a letter. It says, congratulations, Jason. You have passed into the funded account status at Topstep Trader, and we are going to give you the funded account. I, of course, went the direction of the Pro account, and here is what that step 2 looked like, right? So if you look here, I completed this on 10/27 of 2020. I started on October 14th of 2020. That is 10 days. The minimum amount of time required is 10 days, right? That is the minimum amount of time required. And we had a realized profit during that window of time of $3,185. And that was on the step 2 to the funded account. Now, we just talked about the Pro account and the funded account, and you'll notice down here, highlighted in red, is reaches up to $5,000. They will take that $5,000 and they will put live money into your account, and you can begin to trade that live money in a funded account. Now, if you said, look, I don't want to ever trade anymore, they will give you 100% of that $5,000 and off you'll go on your merry way. But most traders have gone this far. They will take that amount of money, that $5,000, and they will put that into a funded account. And so here we took the 50K account and put it in and made enough money to put it into that premium funded account, right? And you'll notice here that we reached the $5,000 profit target. We did that in 4 trading days, right? So 4 trading days, we made $5,084, and that was sent into the premium funded account. This is all back in October of 2020. Here's the letter. Congratulations, Jason, you earned a premium funded account. We're thrilled that you're able to reach this significant milestone, et cetera, et cetera. We will transfer the pro account balance to your premium funded account up to $5,000, which is what was done, right? We transferred that $5,000 into a premium funded account. Again, I'm telling you this as a way to show you that what I'm going to show you today works. These are the things that I do every day in our trade room, okay? And how we use these levels in our trade room. Now, simultaneous to that, I was also working on a $150,000 trading account, right? And you'll notice here the start date in step 1 was October 16th. And the days we completed were 5 trading days. And in this 5 trading day window, it was a profit objective reached of $13,274 that allowed us to advance in the 150K combine from step 1 to step 2. We also did the step 2 account. We started that on November 5th. We ended on November 19th. That was 10 trading days completed. And that profit objective was $162,358, all beginning in that October and going into the November range. So this went from step 1 of the 150K to the step 2 of the 150K to the funded 150K account. And we took the step 2 of the $50,000 account into the pro account and into the funded premium account at Topstep Trader. All in, okay? All in during that window of time. In just over 1 calendar month, we took 2 Topstep Trader accounts to funded status, again, in just over 1 calendar month, using the levels that I'm about to show you here today. That is a net of $36,902 in Topstep Trader trading combines to earn funded accounts twice. But don't just take my word for it. Don't just take my word for it. Stephen G., who was in our room on his free trial, sent me this email shortly after he joined. He said, by the way, I passed the first step on phase 1 with Topstep with your trading methodology during my free trial over the past 4 days. If that wasn't worth every penny, I don't know what is, right? And so this is an email that he sent me in November, was in our free trial, was in step 1 of the trading combine, and took a step 1 of his trading combine. It's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see here that his profit objective, let's see, his profit objective here was, $6,000. And in this 4 days with us, he went $6,196 in the days that he was here with us. So again, don't just take my word for it. This was a guy who was in on his free trial. Stephen was in on his free trial with us and was able to complete that first step of his Topstep Trader Combine during his free trial. And of course, he joined. Now, it's not just Topstep Trader that we've done things with in the past. Many of you have probably heard of Earn to Trade. Now, Earn to Trade is another similarly situated firm like Topstep Trader, and they provide funding in a little bit of a different format for aspiring traders as well. Now, Earn to Trade approached me back in 2018. They said, hey, Jason, we would love to be able to introduce our new product to your traders. And I said, sure, that would be great. But before I'm willing to do that, I got to know that you guys are legit. Right? I need to go through your process. I need to get through, and we need to set up an account. We need to set up a trading platform. We're going to assume that I can do it, but if I can't, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And then I need to know that you're going to pay me when we're done. So I did that whole process. And so I created a webinar that was entitled From Start to a $5,000 Deposit, My Experience with the Proprietary Trading Firm. And so what I'm going to show you here, and let's hope that this doesn't just completely upset the apple cart, right? This is my Chase business account. And you see right here, Earn to Trade LLC credit, ACH credit, $5,000. And that was their deposit into my account in a similar kind of way as to what Topstep Trader does, right? And so I was then comfortable, and I ran that webinar, I was then comfortable to be able to go out and provide this information to our customers about Earn to Trade, right? And so again, the point of this is what I'm going to show you, the levels that I'm going to show you in here today are the reason why I can get these high reward to risk ratios, which allows me to be able to get some of these consistent kind of returns that I'm showing you in here today. Now, you may say to yourself, well, geez, Jason, you picked a few charts out, or you picked a few things out of the mix here today, but how do I know, right? Well, one of the things that we do, and Roderick again is going to throw the link to this in the into the main chat window, but one of the things that we do is we have a YouTube channel, right, that has right now at last count 497 videos of us showing you exactly how we go through and use our levels on a day in and day out basis to be able to capture some of these explosive moves, right? And so again, right now there are 497 of these videos on the YouTube channel, right? And I can keep scrolling and we'll just, that's the wheel you can see spinning here. It's still searching for the remainder of those videos, which are on this page, right? And so if you look here, we've had a couple this week. We had one this week and a couple last week. Before today, by the way, I was on a 3-day winning streak. We just didn't have I didn't have a time. I don't always have time, by the way, to make a video, but when I do, I want you to be able to see exactly how we go through. So the way that these videos are set up is we have an intro here. I go through and talk about the levels, etc., and what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it. This was a $2,000 ES trade yesterday. And if you go through here, I'm going to let you see exactly where it is that I get into the trade. You're going to hear the audio portion. And then I do this, right? I show you where we got short. We got short at the market maker level. It was at 39.20. 12 ticks was the stop. 80 ticks times 2 lots was the target. And that was a 6.7 to 1 reward to risk ratio, right? And so we do all of that on that YouTube channel so you can have a chance to go back. By the way, if you're here and you're looking at this YouTube channel, what I would ask you to do is come down here and like these videos and then hit that subscribe button, right? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can get updated when we put out additional videos in the future. But there is the Oil Trading Group YouTube channel. Again, a channel that is replete with videos showing you exactly how we use these levels on a day in and day out basis. All right, so we talk about these being market maker levels, and I think the first thing, the most important thing to talk to you about is what is a market maker, right? What is a market maker? A market maker was a high volume trader, right? They still are, but they used to be on the floor, right? When I learned this was from a veteran floor trader, right? And so they are high volume traders that literally would make the market, right? They were always standing on the ready to buy or sell. They profited, as you probably know, on the bid-ask spread, and they benefit the market by adding liquidity. So there could be, if there were not these market makers in trading in the market like you see, there would be huge gaps between the buy and the ask. But because they are filling in with liquidity, right, they are narrowing those bid-ask spreads to make trading a bit more fluid and offering value to the markets in those ways. This photograph here to the left is an actual photograph of the creator of the trading levels that I'm going to show you in here today. His name was Patrick. Patrick traded on the floor of the S&P for 30 years. And again, Patrick, like a lot of these guys, despite his flamboyant pose here, he was a little gruff and a little gruff around the edges. And when we began the process of trading together, he would always say, Jason, we're going to kick the signal and pay the target. I'm going to go long here and I'm going to go short there. And I was like, what? Kick the signal, pay the target? What does that even mean? And he would say, well, I'll tell you later, right? And we did this little song and dance for a number of months, right? And finally, I just said, so what are the big secret levels have in store for us today? And he would chuckle and you know, we would talk about it, and we kind of put, you know, I'd put his levels on my charts. I would manually kind of draw them on my charts because he hadn't told me kind of the formula for them. And we would chuckle about the fact that they were just these secret levels, right? And how he did it. Well, Patrick was a floor trader, and that's the way he grew up. He was around the exchanges for a long time, and sometimes there's a secretive culture that goes around with those floor traders. Anyway, that was the reason why we talked about these being the secret levels of a true market maker. With that being said, again, Patrick was a floor trader. Floor traders fulfill an important role in commodity and stock markets by providing liquidity and narrowing the bid-ask spread. The floor traders were also referred to as market maker. Now, these levels were developed in the 1980s. Again, developed by Patrick, and in their original form, these levels were calculated by hand. And so despite the changes in the way that trading is conducted today, i.e. electronically, the logic for the levels continue to work in today's trading environment. Now, in our training program, I continue to show you how to draw these by hand. That's important. I have indicators for these for Sierra charts and Ninja traders, but because I learned them by hand, I can teach you how to draw them by hand, and you can put them on whatever trading platform you are using. By the way, they're not hard to draw once you understand the logic. But again, like any good math teacher, as you're coming up through the ranks in elementary, middle, and high school, when you learn a new concept, a lot of times you got to learn it by hand before they actually let you use the calculator to do the work. And that's the reason for that, is so that you understand the logic of the formula. And that's the same reason why I do it here as well. All right, so what are market maker levels? Well, the market is continuously telling a story. In fact, that's what we talk about in our training course. The market is continuously telling a story. The story provides the context for the daily trading session. The market maker levels are the structure points inside the daily story. Once determined, these structure points are used as tactical areas to make trading decisions. Entry stops and target locations are based upon these levels. So remember, tactics without strategy, as Sun Tzu said in his book, The Art of War, tactics without a strategy is the noise before defeat. So you have to understand the context that the market is trading within, and then use these as your tactical entry, stop, and target locations. Why do they work, right? So, why does an airplane work? Well, I don't have to know why an airplane works to understand that I can get on the airplane and I can fly to wherever it is that I'm trying to fly to. Same thing with the car. I don't have to understand the inner workings of an automobile to understand that if I step on the brake, push the ignition, put it into reverse, go backwards, and then drive, I'm going to be able to get to my destination. But in trading, it's a little bit different. We want you to understand why these levels work, and that's what we're going to talk about here right now. As you know, the markets do not move linearly in nature. The market will rally and pull back. The market will then pull back and rally. Statistics show that the market will be non-trending greater than 80% of the time. So if you look here, there is a sell-off and then a rally, and then a sell-off and then a rally, and then a sell-off and then a rally, and then a sell-off and then a rally, right? That's the way the markets work. They are in this continuous rally pullback mode for the majority of the time. Now, in order to fully understand why the market rotates, you must understand the auction process and how markets go about discovering what the fair prices are in any given day. So if you studied someone like Jim Dalton, he uses the term a continuous two-way auction. The market is continuously rallying to find sellers and selling to find buyers. It is continuously doing that all of the time. And that's why you have support resistance ideas, right? A place is support where the market has rejected in the past. The market has resistance when buying has rallied into a certain area and found the sellers and then sold off. That's the way the market works, right? That's the way and what the markets are designed to do. Remember this, the market moves from horizontal development to vertical development, back to horizontal development, and so on. The sole purpose of the market is price discovery. The market will rotate within a range of prices until a variable changes, and variables, by the way, change all of the time, right? And it is sole purpose is to find buyers and sellers. So I'm going to give you a quick real estate example. In order, I don't know if you've ever sold a house or bought a house, but in order to get a house bought or sold, you have to get an appraisal, right? You have to go out and you have to get an appraisal for the property, and they go out and they pick 3 or 4 houses in the neighborhood, and they say, well, this is about where the price is sold for these particular houses. This house has 3 bedrooms, yours has 4, that house had a pool, yours doesn't, and they kind of take all of that in together and they come up with an appraisal, and that's what the perceived value of that property is. Now, if there was a variable that changed, like let's say they found a new technology to extract oil from the ground, and your particular property and those around you had oil in this that could be extracted with this new technology. Well, all of a sudden, the value of those properties shoot through the sky, right? There's a variable there, and they will continue to rally until people say, look, that's too much for what's happening here, and then that's when people begin to start selling while the market is still high. And then the price will drift down until the buyers go, you know what, this is a good value, I'm going to come step in and buy. That's a variable that could change. Another variable that could change is, let's say that there was discovered that there was a poisoning of the groundwater underneath your homes. Well, all of a sudden, the prices would begin to drop until buyers stepped in and said, well, I can now afford to buy this property, fix that issue, and then go back and resell it for a profit. And that's what the markets are always doing. They are going from horizontal to vertical to back to horizontal to vertical. And this development that is going on is exactly what's happening in the markets on a day in and day out basis. So why do these levels work? Well, these rotations that we just talked about create a set of measurements that are based on time and price cycles from the previous trading sessions. These measurements are then projected forward and become the structure points for the day's trading range. So what you see here on a chart to the right is an example of those levels. And so do you remember me saying he would tell me kick the signal? Well, that was his way of saying hit that level and pay the target. And that's what happened in this instance, right? The signal was kicked. It as like stairs on a ladder. It comes down, tests a level, rallied back up, tested, came back, tested, came back, and then sold off down here. Now we're going to go through some real world examples on charts here in just a couple of minutes, but that is a general overview of how those levels work. Now, one question I get all of the time is, hey Jason, are these levels floor trader pivots? And my answer is no. Right? And while both sets of these levels were developed and used by floor traders, there are some stark differences in how price is measured and how the levels are calculated. So if you're familiar with floor trader pivots, you know there's a pivot, which is kind of that center level, and then there's an R1 and S1, an R2, an S2, an R3, and S3, right? On your floor trader pivots, the pivot point is calculated by the high plus the low plus the close divided by 3. R1 and R2 have a similar measurement, and R2 and R3, the S2 and S3, also have a similar type measurement. Now, these measurements are basic in nature and do not take into consideration changes in market and price volatility or range expansion, right? As it's occurring in real time. The market maker level calculations are based upon measurements which derive from time and price movement. Because of the time calculation involved, these levels evolve in real time to account for the changes in rotations and price discovery. So it is market generated information based on historical price and historical time. And this market generated information, which by the way is your best type of information to use, is market generated information, right? Those real-time level development give you the most in tune support resistance levels that you can have. Now, my final thoughts on this topic. These levels have worked and will continue to work because trading is based upon human emotion and groupthink. These levels take advantage of the process of continuous price discovery and provide structure for the daily trading sessions. So I'm going to go through some chart examples here real quick, but before we get started, there are two types of levels we're going to look at here today. These are the levels, the ETH or extended trading hour session levels. They are also known as the Globex or the overnight session. These levels begin plotting at the close of the RTH session and are valid until the close of the next day's RTH trading session, right? And then you have the RTH session levels. These levels begin plotting at the open of the RTH session and conclude at the close of the RTH session. Now, RTH session stands for regular trading hours, and that is what used to be known as the pit session. All right, so we're going to take a look here at some chart examples really quickly. And let me see if I can find my charts here. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. We're going to start here today. We're going to start here today with the CL, okay? Now, I'm going to turn off the RTH session levels. Nope, sorry, I meant to turn off the ETH session levels. Okay, so here's your RTH session levels on the day. All right, and so I'm going to, let's do this as well. Now, on the indicator, there is a thing that we call the zone of influence. I'm going to turn that off just for a minute so that we can declutter this chart just a little bit, right? So, by the way, in this second panel, I have a cumulative delta idea on it as well. All right, so very choppy conditions here today on the CL. But again, if all you were going to do, and you know what, I am going to turn back on that zone of influence because I want to use this here for stops and targets. I don't trade like the way that I'm about to tell you, okay? But I want to do this for illustration purposes here. I'm going to do this for illustration purposes. I don't trade like this. I don't necessarily recommend that you trade like this, but just simply for the purposes of illustration, I'm going to just show you, and we're just going to kind of go through the chart. All right, so the market opens up here, comes right into your RTH signal, hits it to the tick, okay? And I would say put your stop back here to 11 ticks. Well, that's 12 ticks, so let's do this. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back 1 tick to 11 ticks, okay? And then I'm going to say to you, let's hold it for the level below, okay? Well, there's the level below. That would have been 27 ticks. So that's a little over 2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. But you never come back and challenge this level here, right? So you say, well, let me just try to hold on for that level below. And in this case, that would have been all the way down where you came down to the RTH signal to the tick for 54 ticks. Remember earlier today, I talked to you about the fact that my average reward to risk is about 3.5 to 1. I got a YouTube channel with 497 videos where I show you exactly that idea day in and day out. And so here, your entry, if you just took level to level, right? If you just went level to level, market comes down, sold off into the RTH mid, you could have taken it there, right? Pulled back here. Let's do it this way. I'm going to do it this way instead. Sorry about that. Let me change this up on you a little bit. I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with this, okay? I'm going to be a bit more aggressive. So you say here, I'm going to get short. I'm going to take it here, and that's 27 ticks. And then I'm going to look to get long at the same place, right? That gave you a chance for 14 ticks, but let's say you didn't take that. You got taken out of break even, and you re-entered, and you had a 15 tick move that you didn't take, comes back and takes you out of break even. Then the market closes below this bar and you said, I'm going to get short. And you took it down to that target and you got out. You had 4 trades. 2 of them were break even and 2 of them went 27 ticks, right? And that's just taking every single line that gets touched, long or short on every single line that gets touched. Now again, I don't recommend that. Remember what we talked about earlier is you got to put these in context, right? You got to have some structure, you got to have some context. You may want to throw a volume weighted average price or a moving average on this so you make sure you're staying within the trend direction. You want to use your delta here. Again, I would say, look, there's no reason to get long. The delta is continuously down on the day. There would really have been no reason to get long, but you would have been okay if you did that. Now, this is Crude Oil Inventory Report Wednesday, and so I wouldn't have done anything until we got into just after the number, right? Well, here it is right after the number. Big spike down, did not close below your market maker level. So if you had a lot of courage and you just took that trade, never would have hit the stop, and then the market rallies here, right? But again, look at the delta down here. There's no reason to get short, and it takes you all the way up to here, right? But let's say that you didn't take it there. That's 74 ticks. Let's say you put your trail stop here to there. 54 ticks with an 11 tick stop is 5.5 to 1. Market comes back down, stops almost to the tick at the RTH mid, and you said, you know what? That was close enough. I'm going to get long at the ETH session open, and you ride it back up to the next level. That's 25 ticks, and that's another 2.5 to 1 reward to risk trade. And that's on Inventory Report Wednesday. We'll go back one more day, and then we'll look at some other instruments here. Here is the prior day. All right, so the market opens up here, right? Let's see. No, the market opens here, and you got long here, okay? And you took an 11 tick stop. Again, I'm going to just go through these as if you're taking everything as it comes down the pipe here. Okay, there's your 11 tick stop. Market pulls back and rallies right back up into the structure point here and sells off for 38 ticks down into the zone of the RTH target. You could then say, well, it didn't come all the way down. I don't want to give it all back, and you could put a trail stop in here somewhere, and then the market rallies back up, okay? And you take a stop. Okay, here you take a stop. Market comes back down, and you take a stop. So now you've got 3 stops at 11 ticks each, okay? That's 33 ticks. 3 stops at 11 ticks each, and 1 winner. We'll call it, maybe you took this back at 20 ticks for the sake of this argument. So you're down 13 ticks. And again, I'm not recommending you take every one of these like this, but then the next trade that pops back over here and you get long takes you all the way up here, 11 tick stop and an 85 tick potential target. So you were down 13 ticks headed into that trade, and then you had an opportunity for an 85 tick trade all the way up to those levels above. And again, I'm not advocating that you take every single one of these like that, but I'm just giving you an idea. If you break outside the zone of influence, you have you're going to get stopped. But when you pull back into a level, it gives you an opportunity to continue to take it higher. All right, let's take a look at the ES. So we'll turn off here we'll turn off the RTH signal, and let's do this. Okay. By the way, if you were in the trade room with me today, you remember me. We tried to get short up here one last time at 09 here, and you remember that I was trying to get down here to that RTH target for 21.5 points times 2 lots. That would have been a $2,100 ES trade. I wasn't successfully able to do that, but the idea was right, and eventually it did do that. So, but let's take a look here, right? So the market opens right on top here. You might have gotten stopped out to the tick there if you took that long. In fact, you wouldn't have, because it would have been 1 tick below that zone of influence, which is right there, and you would not have hit that. And then the market rallies up, and you would have been taken out at break even, and the market sells through that, and then it comes down into the mid level, and then would not have put up with any heat. Market rallies for almost 10 points, right? So if you had a 2.5 point stop, right, times 2 lots, and you could have had a 9.5 point winner, right? 9.5 divided by 2.5 is a 3.8 to 1 reward to risk ratio. And if you said, I'm going to take it there, and the delta begins to turn and you wanted to get short, but let's ignore that one for a minute and say you got long here, right? You got long again back there. That would be 6.5 point opportunity. Market closes, market comes down, closes. Maybe it takes you out of break even because you didn't make it to the level above. Market comes down, closes, pulls back into the level. You don't have you have your trail stop above the zone, and then flush, kick the signal, pay the target for 19 points, right? So even if you just broke, well, you had a losing trade. Now, you may have had a losing trade. Let's call that first one a loser at 2.5. Then you had a 9.5 point winner. That's plus 7 points. Then you had a break even and another break even. And then you had a 19.5 point winner using your levels like that. And then even if you wanted to have done this here, you took that target off, wouldn't have given you a chance. And if you said, look, I'm going to get short here, you would have taken a 2.5 point losing trade, and you would have probably been done because you are now up 24 points and you didn't want to give a whole bunch back, right? And that's the way that could have worked out here today. Here is yesterday, right at the open. You kick in, and we took this, by the way, is the trade that we took in front of the live audience yesterday. It was in this neighborhood. The market comes in, comes down to the RTH mid at 8 points, but look what the delta is doing here, right? The delta is drifting downward. No real reason to get long. In fact, we held on to that trade, right? And if you just measured from here all the way down to that lower target one, that's 25 points. But what you'll notice is that the day sessions don't really give you any structure points below that. Well, you turn off the day structure points at that point and look at the overnight levels, and this overnight level gave you another deeper potential push for 45 ES points from the original starting location at that RTH signal. Also, if you look at these levels here in the overnight, you broke down through, you pulled back, and it flushed all the way down into that lower target one. And that was yesterday on the ES. And I'm going to go through these a little bit more quickly here so that we don't run out of time today. And so here is your RTH session levels, right? RTH session levels here, you take this long here and you get stopped right down here, okay? Market comes back, pulls back into that level. You said you're going to take this up to that level. That's about a 2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. Market sells off back into this level here again where you look to get long, and there is one tick below that as your stop, and the market rallies all the way up into the level above, and that's 12, almost 13 points to where it pulled back to here. You see, you get the point, right? Like steps on a ladder, these levels work, right? Like steps on a ladder, these levels work. All right, let's take a look here at everybody's favorite funhouse instrument, the NQ. And now I don't trade the NQ here, so we're gonna just kind of go through and kind of eyeball these levels a little bit here. But today the market opens up around the RTH signal, and there looks like there was a lot of chop and could have been a stop out, a couple of stops out back and forth here. Depends on how you play. It depends on how you play it, right? So let's take a look here. All right, market opens up here, makes a new high for 18 points, comes back, closes underneath, sells off here through the level for 32 points, and then like the NQ does, kind of breaks around and just kind of goes back and forth. Now, again, I don't know that you would have had a chance to get in here on this big explosive move, but down here, you certainly would have, right? This would have been an opportunity to catch, and you can see here the delta was beginning to turn all the way up into the RTH signal, and there is 91 NQ points on that move back up. And if you sold that level down to the level below, there was another chance for 46 ES points as we kind of go into the end of the trading day there on the NQ. Now, if you trade the overnight session, it really gave you some very good opportunities in the overnight session here, right? So this, let's say you got stopped out here, market breaks back up, comes down into the level, and you got long. There was an opportunity there for 100 NQ points as the market went from level to level before it stopped and rolled over, right, on the NQ. All right, so this is, let's take a look here at the RTH session. Wow, this is what a great opportunity this looks like it was yesterday. Market comes up into the RTH signal up here right at the open, stabs right into it. This happens a lot on the NQ, stabs right into it, and then sells off all the way down here to this low, which is 244 points. Now let's turn on remember, we broke through all of the RTH session levels, and now we want to look and use our ETH session levels, and voila, look what happens. All the way to the tick in your overnight level. So you used the RTH session level to the ETH last band of support for a 244 tick move that never ever looked back for the balance of the day, right? And I don't necessarily recommend doing this, but if you did, you caught that low tick to this RTH mid before the close, that was another 163 points on the way back up, right? So you're beginning to understand what I showed you in the beginning as to why I can take some of these trading combines and have such good success, because when the market opens here and comes down 7 NQ points, which is nothing, right? And you're in from here and you ride it all the way up to the RTH target up here for 77.25 points. 77.25 points, 77.25 times 4 times $5, that's $1,545 per lot on the NQ. You can see how that can become a very lucrative idea. We're going to look at gold here really quickly. Here's today's gold chart. And again, same kind of idea, right? Gold opens up here. You could use that if you're just taking that straight resistance. You get in, and I don't trade gold, so you're going to have to bear with me here. That's, what is that, 1.9 units of measurement on gold, right? And the market closes and comes back into the RTH signal and flushes all the way to the RTH target for 16.5 of those units of measurements. And that's a long move here on gold. All right, so you kind of get the idea here. I'm going to come back here and look at the questions really quickly. If I could find my mouse cursor, let's bring the chart example screen back up here. Let me get through some of these questions here. Missed the first 30 minutes, okay. Mahalo. Is this Ninja? It is Centra. This is Ninja Trader, but we also have this on Sierra charts. We have these levels on Sierra charts, and also we teach you how to draw these levels as well. All right, we're going to come back. I'd like you guys to formulate a couple of additional questions while I finish going through this here really quickly. So here's what I'm offering for you today, right? We have the OTG Masterclass, which is a 5-step process, which is valued at $24.97. The reason I know that is because I have sold it at that price before. I just showed you how I use this process to achieve $36,902 in 1 calendar month of Topstep Trader Trading Combines. Also, I showed you how a free trial guest user in our room used this to earn $6,196 just watching over my shoulder. Now, the stepped process here, again, we talk about the process, right? We talk, what I teach you, not only do I teach you how to use these levels, but I'm teaching you how to determine what the context of the market is, the structure. We give you strategies, what the strategies or the scenarios are for the trading day. We talk about tactics, which are your entries and exits based on these levels. And then we go through a very comprehensive risk management idea. We also have a training program outline here, and Roderick is going to throw the link to this page into the Skype. We have the training page or the training outline programmed here. It's a very comprehensive training program that includes 10 hours of video training. We have a 100-page training manual. I'm also giving you a 326-page developed by the CME market profile manual. You don't need to go that much detail, but if you want that deep dive into it, that will certainly be an opportunity for you to take a very deep dive into the profile. The training courses include the following chart templates. We have NinjaTrader 8 chart templates. We have Sierra chart templates. Again, we have a very organized content delivery system that's kind of spelled out for you in video 1, section 1, section 2, section 3. We also are going to give you a couple of different bonus indicators. These are NinjaTrader 8 only. But I know I talk to a lot of traders, and so I kind of put this thing together as a way to assist those traders to kind of declutter their charts. Basically, I've created a set of trend gauges that allow you to take 21 total indicators and combine them into a dial, if you will, right? And so when these indicators are lining up on the short side, it goes from strong sell to neutral to strong buy, and these indicators can update in real time, right? So this is a bonus indicator that we do that combines all of these traditional indicators like the RSI, the CCI, a MACD, I think it's 14, it's 16 moving averages that are combined together that all get wrapped up into these dials to say, look, the underlying theme here today is that the market is long or short, and that allows you to kind of filter out some of those long and short ideas off of those market maker levels. In addition to that, I'm going to give you the OTG Risk Analyzer spreadsheet. I do an entire webinar series on learn how to trade like a casino, and with this particular tool and the video training, I show how you can plug in your numbers, and I teach you how a winning percentage of 35% trading one lot, winning percentage, 35% win percentage trading one lot can be better and more profitable than trading two lots at a 62% winning rate. And again, that's a very cool program, and that's a very cool idea on that spreadsheet. Roderick is again throwing that product page into the area. So you get that. The value of that is $24.97. And again, I just showed you how I use that exact methodology to go and capture $36,902 in one calendar month on these Topstep Trader Trading Combines, trading two lots, by the way. Those are always just two lots. These aren't 15 lots or 10 lots or 12 lots. These are two lot trades, right? Also, the free trial guest earned $61.96 in his four-day free trial in the room. We give you unlimited access to the day trading chat room. Never pay a room fee. Again, the value of that, if you're there for 2 years, is $2,400. So for example, a trade room at $200 per month times 12 months times 2 years is $2,400, times 12 months, that's just 1 year, by the way, is $2,400. So in other places, you would own nothing and still be paying a monthly fee. And again, there are services out there that will charge you $200 per month or more. We keep up with what our competition is doing out there, and they will charge you $200 per month or more, and you still don't own anything at the end of your membership. So the value of all of this value sold separately, $4,897. We are running a President's Day special today, President's Day being on Monday. If all I offered you was access to the market maker levels as an indicator, I just showed you how I use those indicators on these charts just a minute ago for hundreds of ticks, right? It would be worth $48.97. If all I offered you was the opportunity each day, like Stephen G took, to sit down and watch over my shoulder in his 4-day trial, he made $6,192, it would be worth that. Again, if all I offered you was 10 plus hours of video training, a 100-page PDF training manual, and walked away and gave you nothing else, that would be worth that information. That would be worth $4,987 for that information. If all I showed you was how to pass Topstep Trader Trading Combines and earn a $150,000 trading account, of which you get the first $5,000 is 100% yours, that's worth $4,987. And then every dollar you make after that, you're not on the hook for any of the losses, and you make 80% of the reward. And we haven't even talked about that what an opportunity that is, right? What an opportunity that something like that is. I've been in a number of business professions in my life, and never have I been in a business deal where my partner assumed 100% of the risk and I made 80% of the reward. As you know, the guy that brings the money to the table is usually the guy that gets the lion's share of the reward. Not that way here with Topstep Trader. Again, if all that I offered was a training course that showed you how I banked 36K in profits in one calendar month, right? If I just went through the details and said, look, this is what I did in detail to make $36,000, that would be worth $4,987. So, President's Day special, total value sold separately, $4,897. And I'm going to give you that today for one low price of $897. Now, I am limiting this to 10 people today. Why? Because there have been several people that have been in our trading room. I'm going to give you one chance here to get in on this, because as of Tuesday of next week, I'm going to be adding some components to this, and the price is going to go back up to the rack rate of $14.97, and then shortly thereafter, I'm telling you now, we're going to be bringing the price to $19.97. But if you're grandfathered in, you're not going to have to worry about that. But I'm only going to do that for 10 people here today. Now, you need to go to the product page, and then we're going to come back and answer some questions. You need to go to the product page, and you need to come down here to the OTG coupon. You type in OTG 600, and make sure you do this. You have to hit apply, and that's going to deduct $600 for a total price of $897, right? So fill in your name, your email address, agree here, put in your credit card, and sign me up. But you must hit OTG 600. You must do that first. So again, OTG 600, right? Put that in, hit apply, and that's going to drop the price down to $897. And I'm only going to be doing this for 10 people here today. And again, the reason why I'm doing it is I want to give everybody an opportunity that wants to take advantage of this price. And then we're going to bring in a whole crop of new people, and they're going to see the $14.97 and then ultimately the $9.97 price point. So again, we're going to be doing this for a limited time and a limited number of people here today at that $8.97. All right, so let me get in here and get some of these questions answered that I see rolling in here. Let's take a look here. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, sir, what time is working better? I'm assuming what time do the levels work better, sir? And so I'm going to answer that question. If that's different than the question you're asking me, then maybe you could come back and ask it again. But right now, the best time, the time where there's the most volatility in the market is in those day sessions. So those levels, once they tend to react a little bit more strongly at those levels and those present at those points. And so they work great there. But the overnight session levels work in an outstanding way as well. So I would certainly tell you that they're all good. Both times are really good. But the one with the more volume, you get truer, more fluid type moves when there's more volume. Does it work on all markets, ZB, ZC, etc.? Okay, KW, here's the short answer to that question. If the market has a opening, right, an overnight session and a pit session, then they will work. However, I think bonds is a little bit different, and I'm not sure exactly what symbol ZC is. These were built for futures markets, but once I teach you how to draw these levels, you will find that once you put these levels on your charts and you draw these levels on your charts, that the reaction points, I've noticed the reaction points in currency and other markets, I have noticed that the reaction points are very strong in those other markets, right? And so while they aren't specifically designed for ZB and ZC, once I teach you how to draw them, those reaction points are very good. Then the logic that I teach you on how to determine direction and all of those different types of things, those are very, very good as well. All right, KW, does it work with all chart types, range bars? Yes, it does work with all chart types. The underlying logic on the indicator is built on a minute bar, and so those levels will print based on the minute bar logic with whatever bar type you're using. So hopefully that makes sense. And there's more questions that come in here. Hi, Lou. Hey, Jason, do we have access to any of this if we're already lifetime members? Yeah, Lou, this is all in your lifetime membership package. This is all already in there. That's why I was saying at the beginning, there's really nothing new here for you if you're a lifetime member. Let's see, Jim, if I signed up for the lifetime room in December, yes, everything in there, Jim, is correct. What does lifetime mean? Well, that's a good question, Essentra. Lifetime access to the indicators and the trading material means that they will be there for you forever. The room is unlimited access, right? So you get unlimited access to the room. And so I've been doing this 10 years. I plan to be doing it much longer than that. And so that is that is unlimited access to the day trading chat room. So you have two components here. You have lifetime access to all of the trading materials and all of the videos that are in the membership portal. You get to keep that. Plus, Essentra, I'm teaching you how to draw them, right? So I'm not just giving you an indicator that is only designed for the latest version of whatever platform you are on. So for example, let's say that we're on NinjaTrader 8 and we come up with NinjaTrader 10 and I decide that I'm done trading, whatever, right? Well, you still have access to the logic behind the drawings. And so whatever platform you migrate to, whatever version of NinjaTrader or Sierra Charts that's out there, you learned how to do this stuff and you have access to that trading material forever. So Sir asked, for example, 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour. Okay. Yeah, I trade on the intraday charts, sir. They work in those different time frames. Just, I don't like to trade that in front of a trade room because in order to place stops, those, if you're going to, let's say you want to put a stop behind that zone of influence, but maybe there's a bar high that's 3 or 4 ticks beyond that on a 5 minute chart. You can put that above that, right? If you're on a 15 or 30 or an hour long chart, if you want to place a stop behind a moving average or behind a bar high or something like that. By the way, we've had 5 people register here now. And so we just want to, if you want to get in, we're going to close it down. It'll automatically stop taking orders at 10 people. We have 5 signed up so far. And so, by the way, if you have signed up at this point, we will unlock your content here after the presentation. But anyway, going back to that question, it can work on those bars, right? You can put it on a 60-minute chart. In fact, I'll put it here on a, let's take a look at gold here. In fact, we'll come back here to the ES and we'll move this from a 15-minute, from a 5-minute to a 15-minute chart. And we'll take all the drawing tools off here. Let's see here, drawing tools, remove here. Yes, we'll move that. Okay. So this is what a 15-minute chart looks like with it. They really, the levels are the same, right? The levels are identical and the same. It's just the bar sizes are bigger as you move through those. So again, same kind of idea, Essentra. They do work on any time frame. The levels are static and based on a 1-minute bar is the underlying math on the indicator itself. All right, Jim, very cool. Does the trading room work every day for how long? Yeah, Shimon, we are there most days, Monday through Friday. Of course, we do have a holiday we do have a holiday session on Monday. I will take the occasional Friday off if it looks like the markets have been really kind of boggy or slow or sluggish or whatever. But we've been here 10 years. In October, it's 10 years and 3 months now. And we've been doing this Monday through Friday, 5 days a week for the balance of that period of time. And we are generally done by about 10:30 a.m. Central Time, which is the European session close. Let me explain why that's the case really quickly here. So one of the reasons why, by the way, we just got our 6th person in here, so we got 4 of these left. If you're interested in doing it, please jump on board. It will cut you off here at 10. One of the reasons I did that, when I first started trading, this was 18 years ago, back in 2003, I traded in the currency markets, right? And so one of the things that really I figured out quickly about myself in trading these currency markets was that I had to be up around my computer all of the time, right? That's just the kind of trader that I was. I had to be up and around the computer all of the time. And it really became a quality of life issue, right? So as you know, the Forex markets are full throttle in the Asian session, the London session, New York. They start Sunday night, they close Friday afternoon. It was just too much for me. And so when I shifted over into oil had some very specific times of day that the market moved, right? There is a 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. swing zone. There is a higher low that's made in the European session that generally lasts for the entire day. It gave me some seriously good structure points that allowed me to not stress out about having to be, about not having to be in front of my machine the entire time. And so what I have found out is that by 10:30 in the morning, if I'm starting at around 8 or 8:15, by 10:30 in the morning, I can get all the things done that I want to do in a given day. Having said that, the ES recently has been moving quite a bit in that 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock window time frame. One of the changes that we're looking at making here, which is again why I said the price is going to change here coming up, is that we're going to be looking to open up an afternoon session. Now, don't quote me on when that start date's going to be, but that will also be included in your program here, as we're going to be looking at opening up kind of an equities room later in the afternoon, right? I can't tell you the exact date that that's going to start, but that is something that we're going to be looking at doing. So hopefully that makes sense. Are there traders who worked alone and managed to make a profit? Yeah, Shimon. We have in our trade room, in fact, I guess it was yesterday, we had one of our newest traders. She's not a new member, but she's a new trader, and she was super green. In fact, we were this is very rare for us. We're the very first place that she came into, and she has taken her time. She trades in our room and listens to what we do, but she formulates her own opinion, and she has been able to make it into her step one. We have put over, at this point, it's over 40 traders through the Topstep Trader Trading Program, or OneUp, or Lilu, or one of those places. Well, it's just Topstep Trader. When you start including Lilu, OneUp, and Earn to Trade, we're probably north of 60 people who have used our methodology to be successful in these other arenas. Now, I can't tell you what they do on their own and those kinds of things, but I do know for a 100% certainty that the best traders of our stuff have incorporated their own ideas into what we do. Let me give you an example. This is likely not the first, Shimon, this is likely not the first webinar that you've ever been on as it relates to something around trading. And so when you come to these things, you may have purchased this program, and you said, you know what, I liked this one thing and I didn't like much else about it, but you took that one thing and you put it into your toolbox, and then you moved on. And then you went and you found a YouTube video and you said, I don't like any of that other stuff that he said, but I did like that one thing right there. And you took that tool and you put it into your toolbox. And by the time people get to me, they have 4 or 5 things in their toolbox that they really like to use. Where they find a ton of value in what we do is they don't change who they are. They just incorporate that information around these levels, right? And these levels give you excellent location. They give you excellent location for targets and stops, right? And that's the beauty here. That's the beauty of the levels. They give you excellent location for targets and stops and those kinds of ideas, as I showed you here on these charts before. Accenture, I answered the room hours question. John says, what are the open hours for the day trading chat room? Okay, I think that one's been answered. What are the chat room hours? Okay, I think that one answered. Kevin, great. Kevin says he signed up. Yeah, we have, I have 8 people. I have 2 slots left, guys. I have 2 slots left here. Does the indicator work on historical data like yesterday? Absolutely, KW. In fact, You load whatever data you want. These levels will, and as I'm just scrolling back on the charts here, you can see what we're talking about here, right? So this is the ES. This is really cool looking, by the way. I just kind of stopped here. Here's the market opens up on the ES mid and is nearly 60 points straight up on this 15-minute chart. And then what did it do? It went round trip all the way back from that level back to here, right? So it just took a round trip, coast to coast trip there. Essentra stepped out for a few. What is the win ratio again? Again, there's not a specific win ratio. We didn't talk about specific win ratios, Essentra, because that's not what we really care about in our chat room. Obviously, if you won 100% of the time, that would be fantastic, but that's really not what we're focused in on. Again, when you go back to the original portion of that presentation, we talked about the fact that it's not about win percentage, it's about reward to risk. So again, you know that old drill. If I said it's a 90% win rate or a 10% win rate, which one is better? And the answer is it depends, right? And what that depends on is the what is the reward to risk. So if I said it's a 90% win rate and it's 9 one-tick winners and 1 10-tick loser, that's a losing trading system at a 90% win rate. If I say it's 9 one-tick losers and 1 10-tick winner, then the 10% win rate is a better winning percentage. Now, Essentra, that is a long, kind of winded way of answering your question, but that is the way that works and the way that we look at win percentage. What is the guarantee? Well, the guarantee is that you have to work really hard and you have to study the material and you have to trade it in sim and you have to go through that whole process and then you have a chance to be successful. That's the guarantee. If you don't do all of those things, then the chances of you being successful are not very good. Trading is not easy. There are no guarantees in trading. There's no guarantees in life. Death and taxes. Notwithstanding death and taxes, I guess. And so what I would say to you is there is no easy formula. There is no substitute to hard work, and there are no guarantees, Essentra. Okay, I will, Essentra, if you, Vitali, rather. If, yes, we will hold you a slot, Vitali, through tomorrow. We will absolutely do that. Absolutely. Okay, guarantee it will not work for me. Now that's funny, Essentra. That would be another form of guarantee, right? That would be another form of guarantee. All right, with us holding that slot for Vitali, we're at 9. So if you're on the fence and you're interested in doing it, we certainly encourage you to do it. It will be locked up here at 10, right? So it will stop doing it at 10. Can we use NT8 Market Replay with your software to practice? Absolutely, John. I was 40 minutes late signing in, so I missed the early chat. That's okay, Essential. We're glad you're here. I'll be putting out a video a little bit later here for you today as well. Shimon, you're really impressive and you have a lot of confidence in the trades. I will join 3-day trial and hope it will be a nice experience. Have a great incentive to join. All right, Shimon, we look forward to having you come in and do that. I can't guarantee that the price will be the same, but we absolutely encourage you, if you haven't done so already, come in on that free trial. Okay, Vitali, understand. Any other platform will work other than Sierra and Ninja? Well, essentially, again, we teach you how to draw the levels. So again, look, there is nobody else out there. You know how this works, right? You go to a website, you go to a training webinar like the one I'm doing here for you today, and those guys, they will give you an indicator, but they don't want to teach you the inside workings of the indicator. And so you have to ask yourself, why is that? Well, because that's what they're selling to you. They are selling an indicator to you. They're not selling a trading methodology that you get to take with you forever, right? I teach you how to draw these levels. I teach it to you, right? Why do I teach it to you? Because I want you to understand how it works and why it works, right? And then if you have a different platform or you have some other thing you got to go do, and you're 20 years old and I'm 52 years old, and 30 years from now I'm 82 and I'm not trading anymore, but you're still 50, you know how to draw these levels. And I can tell you these levels work, and they will continue to work because they are based on human emotion and market-generated information. The measurements are based on that market-generated information. All right, Essentra, let's do this. Vitaly and Essentra, could you send an email? Dave, put your email in there, dave@mailotg.com. If you'll put that in there, Dave, for these guys as well, that would be beneficial. Dave will get your email address. I need to do some research and watch your videos. Okay, David, I got you, no problem. I understand. And Dave put the link in there to the YouTube channel where there are over 400 emails there. I'm going to put their YouTube videos. I'm going to put this here, dave@mailotg.com, as an email address. I want you guys to put that. If you have any questions, make sure you email that to Dave. We've had lots of questions in here today. So again, we got a slot left, notwithstanding the two that I'm holding here right now. We've got one slot left at this price. And if you are interested, these always sell out. It'll be sold out here by the time we're all finished up here. All right, if you have made the purchase here today, thank you. I'm going to go through here in just a couple of minutes, and I'll begin to unlock your content. You're going to get an email in a minute from Roderick at mailotg.com. You should have already gotten a welcome email, but he's going to send you another welcome email. You're going to want to send your NinjaTrader 8 machine ID to us, right? You're going to want to send that to us here, and we'll kind of go from there. So before I leave out of here, Steve says I signed up. Okay, thank you. So what time does the chat room open tomorrow? Steve, we start the audio portion at 8:15 a.m. And so the way that the chat room works is we start at audio portion 8:15 a.m. and then I'll go through a 15-minute commentary over the coming, again, I can't reiterate this enough, over the coming days and weeks, we're going to be offering, I'm going to be offering a revised trade plan. We don't have published a trade plan in the chat room yet. We're going to be starting to do that again beginning in the next week or two. We're going to start that trade plan publication. We're going to be doing, again, at some point, we're going to be doing an afternoon trading session. And then there are going to be other cool things come up here over the course of the coming days and weeks. By the way, I'm also trading on camera for you every day, so you get to see my bright, smiling face every morning. We have some production value that's pretty slick, that is different than most trade rooms, I think. And so we try to make it an entertaining experience. But again, as we all know, the bottom line is about trading, and that's what we do. And we're very serious about what we do. Just you understand, we don't win every day, but we do go through and we do trade in front of you live, good, bad, or indifferent, every single day. But in the end, these reward to risk ratios with these levels will outweigh most of your losing days when they happen. All right, so again, we got one slot left here. If you're interested, now's the time to do it, notwithstanding the two that we're holding off to the side for Essentra and Vitaly. Unless you have any additional questions, make sure you copy Dave's email address. He's dave@mailotg.com. He's also put his phone number into the day trading, into the day trading chat room. You can tell I say that a bunch. He's put that up in the main chat window at the top here. So for all of you that have joined us here today, thank you very much. Look for an email here in the next 30 minutes from Roderick letting you know that your content has been unlocked, and the follow-up instructions to make sure that we get you fully activated, and off we'll go. All right, very good. Thanks everybody for being here today. Appreciate that. And we'll see you guys on the other side. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the other side.